Day one in the desert. Wow, it's super warm, but I am wrapped up pretty well to protect me from the sun. This is my horse. Isn't she beautiful? Day one. We've only just started, so I'll try and record another video shortly, but just take a look around. I'm in the middle of nowhere. First day, we've done about 40 miles, that's all, but more to come. Speak soon. Day one is just over. 5 hours in the saddle. Well, 5 more days of that, but it was great. We're in a bit of a ravine, look. Looks great, doesn't it? We're waiting to see the stars at night. Apparently, they're crystal clear. I can't wait. Anyway, I'll tell you all about tomorrow, day 2. But I'll have to post these in segments because there's no internet coverage as I thought. It's night in the desert. -5 degrees. Wow, it was super cold. But what a fantastic setting. We're up this morning at 6:30 for breakfast at 7 and we're departing at 7 AM. We've got a 6-hour crossing. Don't know how far we'll get. And yeah, it's great. Only thing is I think I might have a beard by the end of this expedition. No shaving facilities. Well, there are, and there's a bit of water, but it's very scarce. I didn't realise that. It only rains a couple of times a year in the desert of Wadi Rum, and apparently when it does rain, it becomes all fertile and green again. But at the moment, around about this time of year when we're here, it's all sand. And if you're at the back of the ride, we're eating a lot of dust. But let's see what happens today and how far we get and what new sights we'll see. And I'll report back and tell you all about it. First night in the desert and the second morning of my 6-day challenge. Lunch break, 4 hours in the saddle this morning. Wow, that's wonderful. It's pretty hot, although strangely enough, I'm having to wear a big jumper. Because with the wind, there's quite a lot of chill factor, and although it feels like it's burning your skin, you actually don't feel warm, you feel quite cold. But 4 hours this morning, we've just had lunch, like I said, 2-hour break. I fell asleep, can you believe that? But it was lovely, fell asleep in the sun, in the Jordanian desert sun. And we're just about to set off now for the final 2 to 3 hours back to, well, I won't say back to base camp, but they set a base camp up for us every day. So this is day 2 base camp, and I'll report back when I get there. Finally finished riding for the evening of day 2. 3 hours in the saddle this morning. No, actually it was more. We set off at 8 AM and we had lunch at 12. We had a couple of hours break, and then we set off again at 2 o'clock, and we've just finished riding now, and it's 5 PM. Can you see what's behind me? Yes, that's the toilet. Yeah, it is a rock face, but that's a toilet. You know, so you think you're going to find toilets here? No, they put them in the country. Well, they put them wherever they can put them. And I suppose that's how nomadic people have to live. I mean, you don't really think about that, do you? But, you know, when in their country, do as they do. Anyway, day 2. I think it's going to be an early start tomorrow, and let's see. And I'm pretty sure I'll have a little bit more of a beard, because I've decided I'm not going to shave while I'm here. I'm going to live the nomadic lifestyle, and I'm going to come out with a full beard. Well, maybe. Let's see what happens. It's 8 AM, the morning of day 3. We've just had breakfast, and we're setting off for another 4 hours on horseback, just preparing our horses, and let's see how far we'll get. Well, I don't know how far we'll get in 4 hours, but it'll be a long way. We did some galloping yesterday. Wow, what they say about Arabian horses is true. Super fast. Anyway, I'll let you know what happens by the time we get to break. When I say break, lunchtime, which is around about 12 o'clock. So we've got a few hours riding in the saddle. Anyway, catch up with you then, and I'll try and take some more photographs of this outstanding scenery. Trying to do a quick video while riding on horseback is quite difficult. Look at the surroundings. Desert. You know, there's not a great deal here, which you would think, like a European city, you could say there's a certain part of history and there's this and there's that, but the desert you can't really say that, except During the Ice Age, this must have been an ocean. And now, it's just a flat ocean bed with some rocks, remnants of rocks. But it's super interesting. There's fossils everywhere. And you wouldn't have thought of that of a desert, would you? But it just goes to prove that it was a seabed. Also, one thing that I find really sad is there's plastic contamination everywhere. Now, I know I've seen this on TV and people talk about the abundance of plastic all around the world, but I really didn't think it was true. But it is. It's everywhere around. People just throwing bottles of plastic down and litter, which is not, it's not really bad. But when you see one bottle, it seems bad, doesn't it? Just look. It's definitely an ocean bed that we're riding on, and the rocks, and you can see the erosion of water on the rocks. It's really an incredible place. The sun is burning hot, but at the same time it's quite cold, which is why I've still got my jacket on. We're halfway through the morning ride. We'll say halfway, well maybe a little bit more than halfway. We've got maybe an hour and 20 minutes before we stop for lunch break. But I wanted to do a quick video while on horseback. Have a look at this mountain scenery. And you can see what was the flat ocean bed, can't you? And these rocks must have been some outcrops, maybe little islands. But this place is prehistoric. And I like it. But it is hard work. I'm only my third day in, and halfway through my third day in, and 3 more days to go. Not that I'm counting down those days. But, it's tough going, and I'm glad I've taken on this challenge just to prove to everybody what a disabled person can do. 4 hours in the saddle, and we've arrived at base camp for lunch. And we're staying here tonight apparently, but after lunch we're riding out to the border of Saudi Arabia. Apparently, there's an actual border. I thought, you just walk over the desert and you'd be in Saudi Arabia. Apparently not. They've got patrols. And I'm wondering whether they had a fence. I don't think there's a fence, but there might be a road. Anyway, I'll let you know when I get there. Interesting though, don't you think? A border in the desert. End of day 3. It's 4:45 and we're somewhere near the border with Saudi Arabia. I'm not quite sure where, because it all looks like desert. Well, it is desert. Rocks and sand as far as you can see. Anyway, I'm off for my tea. It's day 4, the morning of day 4. It's 8 AM and we're just packing up and we're getting our horses ready and we're setting off across the desert yet again. This time we're heading back to our base camp where we initially started our journey. We're staying there overnight, and then the following night is our final night in the desert, followed by the final day, of course, which then we'll be heading to the Dead Sea to do a bit of swimming and to recuperate from this hard crossing. It has been a hard crossing, but it's been great. It's been difficult at times, and there's been some scary moments, and there's been some absolutely fantastic scenery, of which I've got lots of photographs, so I'll post them as well, and I'll keep you updated on what happens today during the ride from the Saudi Arabian border. Lunchtime break. After 3 hours in the saddle, I found out something really interesting today, and we saw one of the peaks of these cliff faces, I guess, and it was 1,850 metres above sea level, the highest point in the Jordanian desert of Wadi Rum. 1,850 feet. That's round about 5,000 feet. That's the same sort of altitude that I fly in my light aircraft. Well, actually, it's much higher because I normally fly at 3,000 feet. Well, there's flies everywhere. What do you expect when you're in the desert? This place is super peaceful, but just look at all the litter that's strewn around. It's such a shame. Look. I didn't really believe it, when I read about all the contamination of plastic around the world. But this place is almost isolated, or I thought it was isolated from the rest of the world. It's desolate. But there's still plastic bags and plastic bottles, everything, everywhere. It's quite shocking, really. I didn't realise plastic contamination was such a problem. Look at this rock face behind me. You can see the different erosion levels of where the water has eroded this rock face over millennia. How many millions of years has it taken to do this? And what will this place be like in a million years' time? It's incredible, isn't it? Now also, I don't know whether you knew this, but I didn't, but the first series of Star Wars was filmed in the Jordanian desert of Wadi Rum. Now I don't know whether you believe in the moon landing, but I wonder where that was filmed. I'm stood on a desert highway, can you see? But where does it go? Let's take a walk and find out. Signs of life in the desert, but what type of life? What lives down there? I don't know. Could it be a snake? Well, it could be. I doubt it very much. It's probably some type of rodent. But they're all over the place just here, look. And a bit of the vegetation that you can see. But apparently this vegetation comes back to life as soon as they have a little bit of rain. Well, it looks pretty dead to me. But apparently it isn't. It's just dormant and it's waiting for the first signs of rain so it can sprout back into life. Just take a look around. It's a little bit of a panoramic for you. It's rock face after rock face after rock face. And sand after sand after sand. It's an endless oasis. Well, actually it's not such an oasis. It's just an endless desert. You could imagine how easily you could get lost in this place because every rock looks like the next. And once you go around a corner you think you've been there before. But you haven't. Or possibly you have. Now I know you might think it's a bit strange for a pilot to suffer from vertigo, but I do. I am afraid of the heights. But I'm stuck. Well, I'm not stuck. I'm stood. I am stuck as well. I'm stood on the top of a rock. And it's a long way down. And it's pretty scary. My legs feel like jelly. It's strange, isn't it? What a fantastic, fantastic view. I daren't move too much. Let me go really slowly. Because if I look down, I really do get scared. Now, I don't know how far it is, but I don't want to fall. I'm going to show you. Did you see that? That's really scaring me, so I'm going now while I can. And it's only 5:30 and it's pitch black outside. But we're back at the base camp where we started in day one, which feels like luxury in comparison to the tents we've been sleeping in for the past 2 nights. Have a look. It might not seem like luxury, and it certainly isn't. It's like a shed, but it's a comfortable shed. But look outside as well. I don't know whether you'll be able to see any of the stars, but it's pitch black. Morning 5. And we're just leaving base camp. Look, we're in a secluded, alcove. This is where base camp is. Tonight, we spend the final night in a tent, and then we head back towards the stables to leave our horses. Wow, what an epic journey. We've seen some sights, mainly cliffs and sand, but we've seen some sights, and my arse is killing me, I've got to tell you. After 5 days, 6 days it's going to be in the saddle, I'm looking forward to coming home. That sounds crazy, doesn't it? But you know, the best thing about a holiday sometimes is coming home. Anyway, see you soon. During the ride, I thought I'd just let you have a look at what it looks like. Oh, my horse is cantering. Well, not cantering, trotting. I best go. I'm sat on the top of a rock in the middle of nowhere. It's lunchtime, day 5. I'm not sure whether I'm going to have much more space on my phone. The videos are just running out all the memory, the internal memory. So I'm going to try and get tonight's video, and I'll try and get tomorrow's, which is the final day. But if not, I might just have to end with this one, but I hope not. Hopefully there's more to come. But I'm in the middle of the desert in our encampment place. Got all the horses out, and I'm just chilling out and sat out on a rock, taking in the scenery, which is absolutely amazing. But you can really tell that it's a prehistoric ocean bed. You know, you can just see the signs of it all around. The erosion of water, rock faces, and there can't have been water here for millions of years. But there's signs of life all around as well, mainly human life, but there are some insect life and some lizards and some few other bits and bats of life, but it's not a lot. There's a few birds, but you would imagine there would be lots, but there's not. It is, like its name suggests, pretty desolate. End of day 5, and this is where we're staying tonight. We head back to the stables in the morning. We passed a herd of camels today. Well, I say a herd, there might have been 5 of them. But it was blistering hot, and I was wearing the same gear. It's the morning of day 6, the final day. Just a 5-hour ride left back to the stables. I'm quite looking forward to it. I'd be happy to leave the desert. I mean, the desert has been a fantastic place, really an eye-opening place, as it were, but it is a desert after all, and I'd be glad to get back to civilization, having completed my 6-day challenge and cross Wadi Rum Desert, the Jordanian desert, the desert of the patron of my flying scholarship. Prince Faisal of Jordan presented me with a flying scholarship, so it seemed only fitting that I should do this challenge in his country.